Hello and welcome to the King's Forum podcast show. Back again with my two favorites, Herbal Vibes, Virtuous Vibes.
Hey guys.
How you guys doing, man?
Pleasure, man. Always a pleasure being on your podcast.
Yeah, it always is, man. Enlightenment every time.
Let's see how much I got in me, man. I'm a bit tired. Let me see.
I know, even my brain's not flowing, but once you start spitting fire, man.
I have to save the day, man. You know what I mean? It's on you, man. No pressure.
Yes, Scott, it's on you. Remember, you're the key guy today then. If Mike's not stepping up, you gotta pull it in, you gotta rein it in.
Don't worry, I got a little something.
Yeah. He's wearing a cap though, so I'm not sure if he's gonna be capping today.
Part the brand, man. So paid, man.
No cap though, no capping today, man.
I know, promoting self-paid today.
It's all about Black role models for Black History Month. Again, we're doing another episode, to pay our respects as always. But as I was saying to Scott earlier, man, it's about every day and about 1 month.
Yeah,
staying true to your roots and knowing where you came from, or however you're gonna reach somewhere. You can't reach a target or reach a destination if you don't know where you came from, and staying true to your roots and respecting your ancestry, and we're all a mix. To the eye you may not think that, but you dig deep enough that we're a mixture of many different cultures in one. So it's just and for me, that's how I see it. I respect everyone, until I don't.
That's true. Until you do something to me that makes me not respect you, I don't want that to do with you then, you know what I mean?
Don't judge a book by its cover, innit?
Judge a book. You just never know. You never know.
It's true.
100%.
Like, let's kick it off, guys. So obviously with Black History Month, like Mike said, we're talking about role models. So who was your role model, Mike, growing up, and how did they inspire you?
Yeah, narrowing it down, because this can go on for about 4 hours, this conversation.
Yeah.
So about influences and people like that. So I try to narrow it down to a few. So I'm going to start with the main one for me as a boy in a West Indian culture, growing up, big family of 5. Two brothers, 2 sisters. My mum being a single mum. So definitely my mum is the first role model to me. She taught me about hard work. She taught me about, as my first insight into love and what it meant, how to love, how to respect, people as a whole, and to see the good in everyone. That's her biggest quality. Is my mom always sees the good in anyone. It doesn't matter, what you've done, your background or whatever. She will see the good. And she's always a believer that there's some good in everyone, no matter how small. This is about finding that, but there's some good in everyone, and treating others like you want to be treated yourself. So she's my biggest role model, I will say, because as a kid, as a single mom raising us, 5 kids, how many jobs she had at one time around childcare. 3 jobs. She was, my older brother and sister kind of doing the babysitting, because there's enough of an age gap between us, and so definitely my first role model. And they say that sometimes you look at your mum and try and find a woman in your life that's quite similar to set down, like those key qualities. And I would say that my wife, definitely, she has that. She's strong, independent, and someone you can trust, and has a good heart. And they're the key things, ain't it? That if you want to settle down with someone. So yeah, you look at your mum as the first example to, like, you're hoping most women are like this, because it's someone you respect, and that's not reality, of course. You find out the older you get. But yeah, definitely my mum. I have to pay my respects today on this podcast, man.
No, that's nice. Nice, I love it. What about you, Herbal?
So me, I got loads of Black role models, man. But if we're hitting close to home, man, I've got to say my cousin Sammy and my cousin Richard, man. I mean, growing up, man, they definitely like put me onto some knowledge in that, man. Always took us out and all that. And my cousin Richard gave me my first CD, which was a Wu-Tang
Wow.
Forever, man.
Wow.
And that had a big impact on my life, man, because it was just, there was so much knowledge wrapped up in Wu-Tang, man.
Yeah, the cream, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. No, but this was like Wu-Tang Forever, so they was putting a lot of knowledge out.
Yeah, no, listen, they're a serious band.
Yeah. No,
No, that's
definitely.
deep. No, that's good. Like you guys, like hitting close to home, I would definitely say like my mom, my nana, my granddad. Obviously, my mum, being a mum, raising you, putting good values, and you know, teaching you how to be a respectable person in society, giving you the tools and you know that you need to get through life. She was always hardworking. Obviously, once my dad died and growing up, raising us all by herself, you know, you have to be the mum and the dad, the provider now, the homemaker. So doing all of that on your own, and she always prevailed and working 2 jobs like day and night, and still managing to always be present as much as she could when she wasn't working. You know, that kind of sets the bar for me to be like, okay, I know that anything is possible.
Yeah.
When you need to do what you need to do, you make it happen. And then I would say definitely my nan and my granddad, because my granddad was a pastor. So he brought those Christian values into the house. He was like a really respected man. And I love the relationship he had with my nan. And they both were just such humble people. They would, like you said, they would see the good in everyone. Like they took everyone at face value. They never judged anyone or had all these preconceptions. Like their home was always open to everyone and they were so welcoming. So they gave me the big heart that I have today, where I want to help people and I'm compassionate because I learned from these great people.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And, you know, when you're young, when you're a child, you're a sponge. You're soaking up all this, you know, information and what's going on around you, and it molds you into who you are. And don't get me wrong, we then come into our own. But, you know, those core values of respect and, you know, treat others like you want to be treated, and are foundations, you know, to build on. You know, and that's where some people can become lost when you don't have the foundations. You know, you can't build a house without any foundations. It would just fall down, wouldn't it? It would be nothing to build it up.
No, 100%.
We need that. We need that as people, and we need these foundations to be grounded, to have that, you know, that level-headedness when it matters. And as we talked about in the episode about the discipline and, you know, being, you know, physically disciplined as a child and stuff, you know, that's what in my head, that's the takings from sometimes I thought was not the right way and you know, a bit over the top sometimes, but what it done is toughen you up and giving you resilience and you know, to keep on going and not give in. So that's qualities that, you know, you're in the real world, you need to, you know, that whole survival instinct, how to get by, how to protect ourselves, how to, you know, keep on going when things don't go our way. So you have to take some of the good, even though you thought it was bad at the time, that, you know, it's made me the individual I am today.
Most definitely.
No, I agree as well. And I like the thing that you're saying about the foundation, because, you know, when you're growing up, you don't even think about these things. So it's true, like you're saying, we are that sponge that we're just going about our everydays. And then when we come to ourselves, especially as adults, and we see how much that foundation impacts us and they shape our lives. And then because until, you know, we discussed this topic and I had to really get into like who my role models are and what is, you start to think back and you're like, raw. You start to see yourself in them in you and how much you are very similar to them.
Yeah.
And for me, that's like amazing. Like, because then I'm like, okay, what kind of role model do I want to be? It makes me question these things. How do I want to be remembered?
Yeah.
Like, especially go on.
Yes, like you got to remember the people that paved the way, because they said, it's like you said, they set the foundation, man. Without them, we wouldn't be who we are, because we learned from them. So they paved the way for us. and they took a lot of licks on the way.
Oh.
So we didn't have to take those licks.
Listen, that's what they did for us. That's what they did for us, man. They wanted an easier life in that regards, ain't it? They're preparing us for, you know, what we are due to face in life and things like that. And without trying to sound, you know, arrogant or whatever, but I think they've almost made like better versions of them in us, because what they've done is, you know, they've paved the way. So instead of a rocky road or whatever, they laid down some nice level pavement for us. They've made that, you know, they've made that journey as comfortable as possible in life, and you know that they've done all the grafting.
Yeah,
so they want us to graft in a different way with our minds. Use your mind instead of your fists, and just you know, blood, sweat, and tears. You know, they paved that way, and you know, always go back to mental slavery. I always go back to that, because that's what I say in my mind. That's what they wanted for us. They wanted freedom of mind, freedom of thought, because you have that, you can accomplish anything.
No, it's true.
It's like Bob Marley said. He said, "Emanch yourself from mental slavery."
Yeah,
emancipate yourself from mental slavery. It's true, man. It's like we do take the pain from the ancestors as well, but they've relieved us, so we don't have to take as much pain. You know what I mean? They took most of it, man. So we got to give thanks as well, man.
Yeah, gratitude's the key, man.
Gratitude's a must, man.
No, it's true.
You know,
and I like what you said, Scott.
Yeah, 100%.
Because then, like, what you're saying about, especially like the mental slavery, both of you, and taking that pain. One thing I noticed is, as Black people, instead of taking that pain and learning from it, we kind of take that pain and become the victims of it in certain situations. Like, we use that to our advantage. Like, something will go wrong, and then we'll be like, "Oh, it's because I'm Black. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of that." And I'm like, no, can you not just look at it? Maybe it's a
and that's a limiting belief. It's like one of my heroes is Malcolm X, and when he was a kid, he was in school. He was class president. He had the best grades in class, and one of his English teachers, I think it's Mr. Ostrowski, because Malcolm wanted to be a lawyer. He said, "That's not a realistic job for a Black person."
I remember that, yeah.
And I'm saying that. But he didn't say it like that. He said the N-word, you know what I mean? He said that's not a realistic job, and for him to be a carpenter, you know what I mean? So they're planning out their destiny for them because they don't want them to uplift themselves, which is really really upsetting, really.
Limiting belief.
Limiting belief.
Planted the seed there already.
And at the end of the day, that didn't stop Malcolm, because look what he achieved. Look what he achieved. You know what I mean? He went to prison, right? He went to prison, he came out, and he's shaken up the world, man. He's touched the world, he's touched so many people, man. So you got to give thanks for individuals like that as well, man.
Oh, listen, they paved the way for us, man. They paved the way. You know what they went through, you know, their sacrifices, you know, they paved the way for us. They showed us that we could accomplish anything we want. And you know, in modern, you know, more recent times, that is, because obviously, you know, going back to our history of having the kingdoms and things like that, you know, all over Europe and Africa and where have you. So we've always, you know, we've always had that in us, but it's you know, over time, you know, divide and conquer. You know, they've done that to us. So you can say that where, you know, you still have that people with that slave mentality of, you know, it's because I'm Black, it's because of this, can't do it. This is why it's stopping me. But did you give your all? Did you give 100%? Doubt it. You know, we're no longer we're not victims. You know, we were survivors. You know, they survived it. They survived the slave trade. No, they weren't victims of it. They survived it. You know, Underground Railroad, they found ways out of it.
Exactly, man. Harriet Tubman, you know what I mean?
Let's hang on to that. Let's look at the brighter side, that, you know, we can achieve everything we want. You know, let's stop playing the victim role. They want us to do that because it keeps us down. It stops us from elevating ourselves. If we're always the victim,
low vibration.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
if you're always the victim, you're never going to accomplish anything, are
At the
you?
end of the day,
Nope.
everyone's gonna have an opinion of you, man. But it don't mean that you got to take on that opinion.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's it.
Exactly.
You are yourself. People can hate you all you want, but you gotta be who you are, man. You gotta be who you are. Show them. Not just show them, just do what you want to do, man. Don't let people hold you back because you think, oh, because I'm black, people are not gonna like me. Because I'm brown, people are not gonna like me. So what? You know what I mean? People haven't look at like past people like Muhammad Ali. He came back from the Olympics with his gold medal on, and he was still told to get out of the bar. It didn't stop him from achieving what he had.
Definitely. Definitely.
No, and it's true. And I hear what you guys are saying, because I think, like you are saying, we are survivors. At the end of the day, now we're surviving. I think the main concept of Black History Month is to show gratitude and use this month to reflect and give it your all. Anything and everything you actually wanted to do, all your dreams and desires, like, this is a month to show you all the people that had a dream and did it. They didn't let their environment, other people, nothing hold them back. They used those foundations that they had, they used their skills, they was resilient, and they went for it. And I think that's what we need to remember. Like, we are resilient, we are kings and queens, we can achieve anything that we put our mind to. It's just having that right attitude towards life and towards situations. If you go into that victim mentality, you will always be in that angry victim mentality. But if you see it like the survivor mentality, you're always going to thrive and survive.
Yeah. Growth mindset.
No, 100%.
100%. It's
So
like,
apart from family, oh, sorry, go.
Yeah, go. No,
No, go for it. Go.
No, you look like you was coming up with the next question, man. So spit.
No, but then let's finish this point then.
Oh no, I was just saying this, like, whenever I like have the victim mindset, yeah, people don't like me because of my color. I always think of like the boxer Jack Johnson, who was the first black heavyweight champion.
Oh, yeah,
and he was a heavyweight champion in 1908. So this was like height of Jim Crow era, right?
Yes.
And he was the white supremacists back then were so fearful and so angered at him being the champion. They wanted this great white hope to come and beat him. That they even put like 45 round fights that he had to fight him. But he still knocked them out, you know what I mean? And like back in the days, like, it was taboo, and it was even deadly, because if you think 1955, Emmett Till got killed, right? Yeah. And this is 1908. And he married a white woman back then. So it's like, he put his middle finger up to them, like, I don't care what you think of me. I'm the world champion. Put that in your face, you know what I mean?
Yeah, king. He was a king, man.
Yeah, man.
Anyone need a history lesson? I point you to Scott, like 100%. My man knows his history, like, he's on fire, like, he knows his stuff. Like, I can't even.
He's got me like tracking in my mind. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I love my history. You know, even Jesse Owens, like the Olympics.
Wow.
Like Hitler was promoting this Aryan race is the superior, and you got my man breaking all these world records at the Olympics. You know, it just smashed that myth of Aryan supremacy and white supremacy. You know what I mean?
I like that word you said, myths. It's all myths. It's not true.
100%, man. 100%.
No, I've got great knowledge, Scotty, man. I tell you, man, even you always educate me with some stuff. I'm just like, I didn't even know that. Like, you should have been a history teacher, 100.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They didn't teach me this in school, though, did they?
Nah, that's true. Yeah, it's true.
I
had to educate myself, man.
Yeah, you have to, though. It's important.
Yeah, I think outside of those kind of dimensions and boxes, you have to go out and do your own research and gain your own knowledge. And you hear names, go do further research and reading and find out, you know, what you need to find out, because it's true. We always get taught in school, because obviously the lesson is a certain length in it. You always get the condensed version. And if you want the lengthy version, it's best to go and read up and watch some videos yourself.
Yeah, and who comes up with the curriculum?
The government.
yeah. Mm.
You know, they're teaching you what they want you to know.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
100%.
And what they want you to know is that you're kind of at, like we were saying, at that lower level. So unless you want to get to a higher level, it's better to expand your mind and delve deeper.
Definitely, you have to do
Exactly,
that.
because they didn't teach you about the slave trade in school. You know what I mean? They didn't teach you about what did you learn in school? Tudors and you know what I mean?
No, we learned about slavery, but what I was a bit like, you know what I mean? What always got me is how we always was taught that slavery was just black people. They never ever teach you that it was everyone that was
they don't
that wasn't white.
The so-called coolie slave trade, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's everyone that was not white was on slave trade, basically.
They don't teach you that, man.
So much more to it. It's huge. That history. Yeah. You know, that's.
I think the one that hit me was the Aborigines one. That hit home. That hit me hard. That was horrible. When I heard the story about how they were dealing with them, and I think something came up where they were like digging holes and putting them in the ground up to their head, and then they would run and kick their heads off like footballs, and they were doing this to kids, and you're just like, raw.
Yes,
that's barbaric.
But you know what it is? The thing was, because we're such a loving people, we invited them into our countries.
That's exactly what that was.
They didn't come with the muskets the first time. They came in, we invited them in. Then they came back with reinforcements.
Because they saw what we had. And they saw our potential. They saw the.
It's like when you look at like the American slave trade, the Atlantic slave trade and all that, they looked at people as property, right? Whereas the Brazilian slave trade, which was the Portuguese, they didn't care about them. So they just thought, I can just kill them. Those slaves, they weren't surviving past like 25 years old because they knew that they can just go get more slaves. Whereas the American slave trade, they looked at them as property. So they treated them like shit, but they still looked at them as an asset. You know what I mean? That's why if you look at Brazil now, Brazil is the most mixed, diverse country in the world.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like big names. Like who impacted your life and how did they inspire you?
I'm going to go a different way because we mentioned Malcolm X already. So I'm not going to talk about him again, but he was a massive role model, of course. And I'm there with Scott about that, definitely the impact he had on me. I'm going to go to music. I'm going to go to Marvin Gaye. I'm going to go to Marvin Gaye.
He's a good one.
Marvin Gaye, man, he's one of my favorites as well, man.
And the importance he had kind of in my household for music, for R&B, and my mum introducing him to me, and hearing his sound and that voice, and that he could sound so differently from Grapevine to Let's Get It On to Sexual Healing, Mercy Me, and
timeless music,
timeless sound. And you grab onto that as a young, a young black boy, kind of black role models, because there were so many white singers you saw everywhere. And it was like, this is a cool black guy that women loved. Women loved him. The black culture loved him. So as a young black boy, you hang on to that. You just thought, this guy's just cool, man. How cool is Marvin Gaye? You hang on to, these are the things you just connect with, and you're just like, look, I want to be like this dude, man. It was so cool at the time. Teddy Pendergrass. Movement, Barry White.
Barry White, man.
Those people, Curtis Mayfield, these people I connected to at that time. But definitely Marvin Gaye, one of my favorite singers of all time. And just that movement, and he had songs like Mercy Me, they just captured that time and how we were feeling as a people. You just have these people who are just so connected with their environments and their communities. And he was, and why they call it soul music, because you're singing from the soul. It has meaning. You can connect with that. And like you said, Scott, it's timeless. And for me, Marvin Gaye was huge to me, like growing up, and that sound, and the soul, R&B sound, the origins before we got the artists of today. As I said, these people paved the way and built those foundations. Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, all that.
Like me, I used to love, like, because of my mum and dad's influence, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh wow!
I used to like Earth, Wind and Fire because they used to wear the traditional costumes, man, and they used to pay homage to Egypt and all that, man. It was all. I remember my GCSE art. I drew Earth, Wind and Fire, one of their album covers, man, with the Egyptian goddess and that, man.
I did a lot of that, didn't I? I like
that.
Yeah,
man. And like me, yeah, Tupac Shakur, man, Public Enemy, Chuck D, yeah, man, Wu-Tang. They were spitting a lot of mathematics, man, and like a lot of conscious, like Tupac was like his mum, Afeni, was a Black Panther, man. So, and his stepdad Mutulu, yeah, he was a Black Panther as well, man. So the consciousness was there, man. And obviously, Public Enemy, man, Chuck D, man, he was like their Professor Griff, flipping Flavor Flav, man. They were putting the consciousness on them, man, making us not just turn the other cheek every time, man, to fight back.
No, it's true. It's true. There's the big names you guys are mentioning. For me, I would say like people like Shirley Caesar, Bob Marley, Luther Vandross, Al Green, like those, even Mary J. Blige, those people, when I was growing up, their music spoke to me, especially in healing times when I was in a certain funk and I felt like I was down. Some of the words in their music really uplifted me. And I felt like, especially like a lot of their love songs, they taught me how to love. I had a certain expectation about love. It made me open up and want to find this kind of love that they were speaking about.
Definitely.
So it made me more like, loving and empathetic and compassionate and kind of aware of what I wanted at the time.
Definitely. 100%. Yo, music's powerful, isn't it? Because it's the vibration, it's the frequency, man. And I mean, you can't leave out Bob Marley, man, because
he's a legend, man. Like,
he had the highest vibes in his music, man.
Yeah.
His music, like he said, one good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain. And it's true, man, because once, I know me, when I listen to good music, I get goosebumps when I hear it, man. I can you feel it, man. So music's powerful, man.
Yeah, I'm being a bit clever here, and I'm holding my cards close to my chest because I'm gonna do another episode about it. So I'm not revealing all of the list. Just give it like a couple, because there's gonna be a part 2 I'm gonna do, and I can't reveal all my cards, man. I got some aces on the screen.
It's gotta be done. Well, I look forward to watching that now. I'm looking out for that. Man. You have to let me know. When that drops.
That's a big one, man. That's a big one, man.
There's some big names out there right now. Even like with some of the current people that are doing stuff like me, I'm really digging on Tamala Mann. Like she inspires me, and I always like Nikki Parker, because like with those ladies, I felt like when I was at a stage in my life when I was a bit bigger than I wanted to be, I ain't gonna label myself with no names. They always had the confidence and the courage, and they showed up, and they always was them looking glamorous and fantastic and always giving their all in their professions. And they made you feel like it doesn't matter what you look like, you're able to do and live the life that you want to. You deserve it. Yeah, you know what I mean? You can be loved,
big and beautiful,
be wealthy. Yep, exactly. So I liked a variety of people who didn't fit a social stigma. I like people who were just different, because it made me feel like it was okay to be different. And that's what I like about a lot of Black females who are out there doing them regardless of how they look. I like the ones that went natural, and some that cut their hair, and everyone went through some craziness and crazy movements, but that was because that's what they wanted to do. It was all about who they were, and they wanted to show that to the world and kind of come out of these outdated norms.
Yeah, no, I
So
hear
I
you.
really like that.
The Jasmine Sullivans. Yeah. You know, they're just themselves, man. Even Missy Elliott in the beginning, I know she ended up losing weight, but when she first came out, she was just
she was just and Missy Elliott's another big name. I love Missy Elliott.
Self-loving it, being comfortable in your own skin, man. Loving yourself.
And I found they were more powerful. Huh?
No, I was just gonna say that's kind of a reflection of the environment I grew up in. You know, they came in, beauty was in all shapes and sizes and all shades, rather than, oh yeah, you know, what Vogue magazine is saying or what Elle magazine is saying, they need to look like this. So that was always strange to me. And it was like they were like almost polar opposites to what I'd seen as what I kind of classed as beauty growing up for me and my environment. And then I saw that and kind of where social media's taken it. I'm like, these stick insect women are meant to be beauty and what we call supermodels, and I didn't quite get it. I didn't quite get why that was meant to be attractive, or that was meant to be a great example of beauty, because to me it wasn't. I didn't find it attractive.
But it's funny, like it's like back in the days it was more Eurocentric beauty. It's like like men and male and female used to put the conch in their hair to straighten their hair, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to straighten mine.
Exactly. It's like, it's like for a more European standard beauty. But now it's completely reversed. It's like women want bigger lips and bigger butts, you know what I mean? Before they used to say, does my bum look big in this? Like it's like they don't want that. Now they want their bum to look big in this, you know what I mean? It's just weird.
You know, the Mix-a-Lot was right, eh? So
yeah, he said he was talking about big butts back then, but it wasn't a fan. But now it is. I was on that,
and I was with him, man.
You know what I mean?
I'm still with him.
That video still, man. Oh my god, when you think about that video, it cracks me up, man. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but this is what I liked about music back then, because people have fun. Digital underground.
It was more creative.
Oh yeah, Tupac.
People have fun with music. It got too serious.
I think it's getting too raunchy for me, to be honest. Like I can't be watching these music videos, especially in front of my 3-year-old. Like
now,
clothes, they're twerking, they're doing
a lot of the female artists back in the days, they had more respect. Aaliyah, TLC.
You're right, you know, when you think about it,
they could be beautiful, but with respect.
Baggy jeans, oversized hoodies, bandanas.
100%. But now these artists they look like porn stars, man. You know, they don't leave nothing to the imagination.
Sex sells.
100%. And then you can be watching the music video. They'll blank out the swear word, but they keep the explicit imagery in it. It's like
sexualized, and you know, there's a market for that. You got, you know, a lot of men out there that love that. The industry love it. It's an easy win for them, ain't it? So
but then I feel that it's teaching us especially young women, that in order to feel loved and be loved, you have to look that way. You have to be all sexualized, wear hardly any clothes and twerk, and like you see kids or young women on like social media always doing all these bum pictures, like and you're like, what the heck?
It's like black women, they went from their idols being like Maya Angelou, you know what I mean, Sister Soldier, to like Aretha Franklin, to like Nicki Minaj, you know what I mean? what do they do? Lil Kim, you know what I mean?
Wow, what a drop! What a change of mindset, and you know, just their whole view of life and what they respect and core values and all that. It's all gone, man. It's all gone. It's all about my body. I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah, definitely. And Lil Kim had so much hate that she bleached her skin and changed her face.
Yeah. She's like,
even Vibes Cartel did that as well, innit?
Yeah. Michael Jackson, I know he had really vitiligo, so I'm not saying he bleached his skin, but he changed his nose. You know what I mean? He changed his nose but this goes back to the limiting beliefs because his dad used to tell him he had a big nose.
Yeah, he used to get teased a lot about how
his
appearance. He used to get teased a lot. He had acne. He used to get his siblings used to tease him about all the time. So yeah, there was no surprise that he went to such extremes with his information because those are the thoughts in his head. Imagine being told that all the time.
Yeah.
It's hard to self-love. There's no self-love or self-worth there or self-acceptance.
Yeah.
So he created this other person that he thought would be more accepted.
Yeah.
No, it's deep. It's really deep. And I think that's like Black History Month, like people, we need to kind of accept ourselves, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. It doesn't matter what shade you come in, just accept yourself for who you are. Because this whole movement on, it's you have to either be light skinned and to be accepted, or you have to be lighty to be, it's stop. Yeah, colorism needs to stop because we're all beautiful. We're all coming different sizes, shades, gender. We're all different, and that's what makes us amazing and unique. We're a gift to this world because we are unique and who we are.
Yeah, I'll tell you the key thing there though. It's tricky. Because I know you're saying it has to stop, and it does. I agree, but that's not an easy thing.
Nah, it's because of media.
And not even just that. Even within our own culture and us being told certain things.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I was told that dark skin isn't beautiful as a Black child. Even within my own community, there's colorisms and discrimination within our own communities. So but as adult, now we've come into our own as adults and people that are a bit more open-minded and a bit more enlightened, hopefully, that we can unlearn this stuff. And this is where we need to check ourselves. You need to check yourself and say, actually, am I just, am I being ignorant here? Yes, I was told this as a child, but did I think it was right? As an adult, I'm an adult now. I'm meant to be a positive role model.
Yeah.
I think the color, the complexion of someone means they're not a decent person, or it means they're less of someone. They're lesser than someone that has a lighter complexion.
Yeah.
You need to look at that and just open your minds and unlearn it. And that's what we got to do. We got to unlearn a lot of negative stuff towards our own people and even other cultures and other races. We need to unlearn that stuff because it's not the way. It's not the world we want to live in, where people are discriminated because of the shade or color, or background they have, or what area they came from, what postcode they live in, what job they're doing.
That's true.
People weren't born to hate.
Yeah,
it was all learned behavior, man. So we just need to rewire and reprogram them subconscious programs, man. Because how can you hate someone for the color of their skin that they didn't even choose to be in the first place?
Tell me about
exactly.
Tell me about it. You know what I mean?
It's true.
I was born white. If I was born white, I still love myself. I'm born brown. You know what I mean? I love myself. You know what I mean? If you don't choose what color you come out. So how can I hate you for? You know what I mean? It's ignorance, isn't it? It's ignorance.
No, it's true. Well, to finish off, guys, let's put out our takes and maybe talk about what kind of teachings those role models that inspired us, especially the big name ones, can have an impact on the generation now or anyone in the world, and how any Black role model can really inspire the generations that are coming out.
Education. The beauty we've got is we can look back. We can watch videos, we can watch documentaries, we can listen to Spotify and listen to, other, apps that can tap into old music, and they're all archived. you know, so you can go and listen to Marvin Gaye. You can connect with that sound, that movement. And you know, one of the biggest songs from En Vogue was Free Your Mind, and the rest will follow.
Oh, I love that tune. Oh, that's a big tune.
And that's what we need to do. And if that's the message for you to know yourself, you need to free your mind, man. Go and unlearn the stuff that you know was negative. You felt it. It didn't feel right when people were saying, "Oh, taking a mick out of this person because they're from Africa." We're all from Africa. So, you know, all these things didn't sit well with us, but we just went along with it because we wanted to fit in and you know, be a part of the herd and, you know, just follow and not be an outcast. But now we're in our own. We've grown up and we're our own individual. Even for the young, go and do your learning, man. Even for the youths who want to still be a part of that crowd, go and do your own in your own time. You know, and if people don't accept you for who you are, that's not your tribe, man. I'll go and find other people that do accept you for who you are, because we're all individuals and that's what makes us special. We're all our own people. So, you know, be yourself, free your mind, take on there's so many great examples over the years. Go and read up. And the nice thing, you know, go and Google stuff. Great black models of the last, you know, 20 years, whatever. Go further back, go recent, go further back. Because what we're seeing with, you know, all this, some of the modern artists, and it's not everyone, but you're just seeing a lot of negativity. You're seeing a lot of, you know, just fake, not unauthentic people out there, you know, just trying to fulfill a need in the media or what have you, that sells easy. Like we talked about sex and things like that, or, you know, wearing the right bling, driving the right car. But, you know, let's look at the value as, you know, let's do the inner work and look at value of people and humankind and what can really make a difference, and things that last and things that, you know, you can feel proud of when you see it 10 years down the line. So that's what I would do. Free your mind. That would be my message.
I love that though. I love the relation to En Vogue as well, because that was a big tune. I'm gonna go listen to that afterwards as well. What about you, Scott?
Man. As I said, I held the cards close to my chest for that episode. So what?
Man, you gotta do a podcast on tunes and bring it back old school. That's what you need to do.
Easily, man. I'm a music man.
Yeah, do that. Educate these people on good music. Bring back those vibes. What about you, Herbal Vibes?
Yeah, exactly what Mike said. It's like there's so much information out there. It's like we're living in an oasis of knowledge, but drowning in a pool of ignorance. It's like so tap into this knowledge, man. It's like you got all this information here, so ignorance is a choice. So just educate yourself, man, and remember the people that came before us. Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, our ancestors. You know what I mean? Jack Johnson as well. They had all these struggles, you know what I mean?
And obstacles,
etc. But they flourish, man. They shine in the dark era, man, and they rose from the ashes, you know what I mean? So you got to remember them, man, and that should give you more than enough encouragement to push on, man.
Yeah, there's one thing after that, which is a shame, and when you mention those great role models, the kings, you know, and we mentioned some queens as well over the time as well. You know, the only shame is about our culture and our communities is we were closer than ever back then in such a horrible time.
Yeah.
Even my mum tells me about it now, about 60s and all of that, and the time and how Black people were so close together, and we were a community then. There was a real sense of community and things like that, and a lot of it was out of not having a choice. And it's a shame how now we have a choice, what's happened, and you've seen the divide where it's more around envy and jealousy and you know, putting people down, being judgmental about your own people rather than building them up and supporting them and wanting to go into business with them, you know. So that's a shame, and I think we need to get back to that sense of community again, and the only way we can do that is by not being so judgmental and hard on and sometimes it's a reflection of ourselves as individuals. that it's kind of like displacing how we feel about ourselves onto others. So as I said about the criticism I received about the podcast was from, you know, Black people of color, and a lot of it's displacing their own thoughts onto you. So let's build each other up. Let's support each other. Let's build that sense of community, because when we, you know, paying homage to our ancestors and respecting what they did for us, the last thing they wanted was to divide us. You know, that was for us to still keep, you know, that sense of community and still working together to achieve our goals, and not now separating because it's easy now. And now the racism and discrimination is more covert than overt. It still exists, but, you know, we don't see it as much because now people get pulled up on it. But, you know, that wasn't what they wanted. And I think that sense of community, we need to bring that back and have more of these
100%
parties, and, you know what I mean, our soca parties, or back, man, our block parties. Let's get a Black block party. You know what I mean, Black artists down, and let's see some sense of community instead of, you know, seeing that Notting Hill Carnival when you got all these silly gangs against this gang warfare, rather than something that was built for us and our communities. They've basically dismantled it to the said, COVID. But I mean, compared to what it was when I was a kid, when it was so huge, they're about to block off all these areas and everything because of how much crime there is. So
it's getting out of hand.
Cold rubbish as well, man.
Yeah, the youths have just messed up something that was there, put together for us to say,
it was a celebration.
A postcode that don't even belong to you in the first place.
That's what I'm saying. Celebrate our Blackness. They've lost the plot. It's not an opportunity to harass women, sexually harass women, and then go and stab and do crime. It's an opportunity to celebrate our Blackness and be proud of that. You know,
it's an opportunity to celebrate coming together with other cultures and inviting people to understand where we come from, how we are, and just like we're talking about vibrations and energy, and just raise it. It's like, don't, all the work they've done, don't make it go to waste. Honor them and keep paving the way for our children and their children's children, and all Black people, even not just Black people, just people around the world. Just keep paving the way. Don't start making this road, like Mike said, bumpy again. They've smoothed it out. Like, figure out who you are and come to terms with that and accept it and own it. Like, especially if you're Black, find out your own definition of what being Black is, not what you've been taught, not what you've been told. Figure out what, because that's what I had to do. I felt that I had to be all these different things to just be Black or accepted as Black. And then I realized it was just not me. I was never happy. I always felt lost. So I had to come to myself and be like, well, what is my definition of being Black? And then I was like, but I'm not just a Black person. I'm just me. Why am I being labeled by the color of my skin? So let me take away the color of my skin and I'm just me.
Yeah, it
doesn't matter what I look like. I'm me. So who do I want to be?
This is just like a physical body, but it's the spirit. The spirit, man.
And just come to yourself and find out, what do you define yourself as, not what everyone else is defining yourself out because you look a certain way. Like, how does it feel to you when you act and do things? Does it feel natural to you? Does it feel right? And then that's how you start to figure out who you are and your essence. Figuring out what vibration you want to be on. What's your energy like? What kind of things do you desire? What's your passions? Not what every Black person likes to listen to and what every Black person likes to do.
Exactly, man.
And that's what I figured out. That's whole wear and weave thing and extension. Man, I shaved off my hair. I wanted to do it a long time ago, but I was just trying to follow all the Black movement, man. That won't work for me.
It's like you said,
right?
You said culture because it's a cult, innit? Because obviously we've been basically brainwashed to think that we got to act a certain way, man. Be who you want to be, man. You ain't got to just be like this because your culture says you got to be like this. Your culture, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
I agree.
I agree too.
If you want to listen to pop music, man, that's your choice. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is your choice because I like pop. I don't care.
Boyzone, whatever you want, man. Kylie Minogue, listen, go for it, man.
I listen. Music is music. As long as it's got a good message, a good beat.
It may not be my taste, but it may be yours. You know what I mean?
Oh, for God's sake, here we go.
Listen, people.
I don't really like
Thank
pop
you very
music,
much.
No, man.
Bless
That
up.
was a pleasure, bro, man.
Thank you very much for sorting out the questions, Virtuous Vibes.
That's all right. Anytime.
Good questions, man.
Yeah, people, please like,
Good
share,
talk.
subscribe the video.
Peace, love, light, and healing, guys.
And see you next time, yeah? One love.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, bye.